Give it all you got till there's nothing left. You're more than capable. Just believe it's yours.
Good morning.
It'll be. Have faith in
Thank you guys for connecting with us this morning.
There's a power deep inside you. All you gotta do is reach inside you. Don't be afraid. You could face anything. Just repeat after me. I am power, I am love, I am love.
I pray each of you have had a great week, a great weekend.
I deserve it. I am faithful, I am able, I am fearless. I am humble, I am grateful, I am purpose.
You know how we do it. We're going to give it a couple more minutes. A few people time to connect with us, and we'll be getting started shortly. Morning, Anita.
Shifting your ways, be confident within yourself. Practice and trust, visualize all your desires. Focus on the better days. Be willing to let go and receive. Just breathe. Nothing will hold you down. Just repeat after me.
Good morning to those of you who are just connecting with us. Good morning, Tay. Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning to you guys. Hope y'all had a great week so far. Great weekend as well.
I am humble, I am grateful, I am purpose. I am passion, I am present, I'm determined. I am strong, I am brave,
G.
I am enough.
Good morning.
It won't be easy, still I won't give up.
Drika, good morning to you also. Tronjo, good morning. Good morning.
Give it all you got.
It's so great to have all you people connect with us here every week.
You're more than capable.
Pastor Ransom, good morning to you, beautiful.
Have faith and you'll see. There's a power deep inside you. All you gotta do is reach inside.
I did enjoy my birthday, Tay. I did. Thank you so much.
Face anything, just repeat after me. I am power, I am love, I am light. I am worthy, I am learning, I deserve it. I am faithful, I am able, I am fearless. I am humble, I am grateful, I am purpose. I am passion, I am present, I'm determined. I am strong, I am brave, I am enough. Know that it won't be easy, still I won't give up.
We're going to give it a few more minutes. Give some people time to log in. Why don't you drop some emojis to express the type of weekend or week that you've had? Thank you, Chanja. Thank you so much.
Focus on the better days. Be willing to let go.
Yeah, I might finish the month out. As a matter of fact, that's a good idea.
Nothing will hold you down. Just repeat after me.
Jeremy said he been in his bag this weekend. That's what's up. Come on, y'all, drop those emojis. What y'all been doing this weekend? Nita's been chilling. Somebody looking for that little demon emoji.
I am strong, I am brave, I am enough. Know that it won't be easy, still I won't give up.
Tay. Okay. You just said the same thing Quinn said. Cool.
Put your mind to it. Give it all you got till there's nothing left.
Quinn, you killing me.
You're more than capable.
Tron just been chilling as well.
Just believe it's yours and it'll be. Have faith and you'll see.
Oh my God.
There's a power deep inside you. All you gotta do is reach inside you. Don't be afraid. You could face anything. Just repeat after me. I am power, I am love, I am light. I am worthy, I am learning, I deserve it. I am.
Okay.
I am faithful, I am able.
I'm gonna give him another minute and we're gonna jump into this word for today.
I am humble, I am grateful, I am purpose. I am passion, I am present, I'm determined. I am strong, I am brave, I am enough. Know that it won't be easy, still I won't give up. Shifting your ways.
Yes, ma'am. Those are great memories.
Practice and trust, visualize all your desires. Focus on the better days. Be willing to let go and receive. Just breathe. Nothing will hold you down. Just repeat after me.
Jeremy Quinn won the whole song. Good morning, Lucy. Pastor Ransom says she's been running all weekend, all week. I know how that goes. Mr. Robinson, good morning.
I am power, I am love, I am light. I am worthy, I am learning, I deserve it. I am faithful, I am
Cam,
able,
you in the birthday countdown. Good morning to you, bro. Good morning, Leisha, and thank you so much.
I am passion, I am present, I'm determined. I am strong, I am brave, I am
Fam, back with the redacted. Morning greeting came back. Say good morning to all. Good morning to you too. Hey, so listen, we're going to go ahead and hop in this word for today. First of all, thank you guys so much, all of you all who sent birthday wishes and Cash Apps and Zales and all this other stuff, man. Thank you so much. I had an amazing weekend, just enjoying the privilege of life and being able to be here on this planet these few short years that I've been here. So it's been great. I have no complaints at all, but thank you guys so much for that. In addition, we're in the middle of another heat wave, so you guys make sure you're staying hydrated, staying cool as possible, protecting yourself as we are having another escalation of the outbreak of a new variant of the coronavirus. I think Corona moved in. It don't look like it's going anywhere, so you guys, let's make sure that we're being aware of that as we're moving around. Morning to you, Minister Lewis. We have kids that are going back to school. Those of you parents who are sending kids back to school, pray over your kids, cover them. There's so much going on, and not just to protect them from other students, but also teachers, as the curriculum is getting crazy depending on what state you're in. So make sure that you really take a minute to pray over your kids. I couldn't imagine what it must be like as a parent now with so much happening in schools, to have little ones that are having to go into some of these environments. But, you guys pray over your kids before you send them off to school every morning. Take the time, make the time, whatever you got to do. If you got to get up early, even if you have to go and pray over them before you wake them up to get them ready, do that. But just take just a minute. It doesn't take long. Just make sure that you're speaking, because your words are life. Your words are powerful. And God will hearken unto your prayers, because he is faithful. Okay, so this morning I want to get into something. It's going to be, I'm going to be reading out of 1 Corinthians chapter 4. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, those of you who are taking notes or following along on another device. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 4. I'm going to be reading just maybe 2 passages of scripture from there after I get this sip of coffee. The coffee hit the hardest when you don't have time to drink it. I don't know why that is, but okay. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse number 5. It says, "Therefore judge nothing before the time until the Lord come, who will both bring to the light hidden things of darkness, and will make manifest the counsels of the heart. And then shall every man have praise of God. And these things, brethren, I have in a figure transferred to myself and to Apollos for your sakes, that you might learn in us not to think of men above that which is written, that no one of you be puffed up for one against another." I'm going to read one more passage. Verse number 7 says, "For who maketh thee to differ from another? And what hast thou that thou didst not receive? Now if thou received it, why dost thou glory as if thou hadst not received it?" Okay, so right here, the Apostle Paul, he's addressing a situation that was going on in the Church of Corinth. He had been going in teaching, and the people began to grow spiritually, and then all of a sudden they started to think, like, we can do this ourselves. We don't need them coming in, and they were finding things within the leadership of Paul and Apollos, and then that spilled over into them trying to find fault in each other, and so they really became judgmental, almost exactly what the Christian community looks like today. And this was the situation. I do want to talk about this, but not necessarily from a perspective that we'll only see in the Christian community. I just want to talk about this in your life at whole. In the very first statement in verse number 5 is very powerful, because he says, "Judge nothing before it's time." And then it tells you when that time will be. It says, "when the Lord comes." And very practical saying, but yet very powerful, because what he's saying here is that you should reserve to conclude what someone is, who someone is, or is not. You should not do that before time. And then he says, until the Lord come, right? Because every person that's living and breathing and moving about on this planet has time to change, time to improve, time to get better, time to repent, until the Lord comes. So when you're looking at someone and you're passing judgment for a particular thing in their life, whatever that thing may be, you're passing judgment on that. You're actually premature in your judgment, because once they get it right, and you've already judged them for their error, once they correct it in your heart, it will be hard for you to transition back to a clean slate from them, because your reference to that person will always be what they were before and what they were whenever you judged them. Case in point, when people go to, if people are arrested for whatever, fraud, murder, theft, whatever, usually the public at large will maintain that perception of them. Now they can go and pay the penalty for their crime and come out and be reformed and be a totally different person, but that's still going to always follow them. And we see that also with like registered sex offenders. You know, it's just something that happens. You could have been 18 messing with a 17-year-old or 19 messing with a 17-year-old, and that's still going to follow you. You will have to register everywhere you go. And you were judged at a time when you had not grown into knowing better. In some cases, okay. But when this happens, it does a couple things. Number one, it puts the one that's being judged at a handicap, because at that point, nothing or everything that person, he or she, may do, it will be done under the pretense of the judgment against them, right? And the person that's passing the judgment, because of the judgment, it will obstruct their ability to see any change in the individual that they've judged, right? And so, if we were to bring this a little closer to home, and you are considered this when it comes to a spouse or a child, a parent, a sibling, a family member, a friend, or what have you. When we do that, we stand in one of those two positions that I've just shared, either the one that's been judged or the one that's doing the judging. And the Apostle Paul is very clear here that that's not our place to do, because when the Lord comes, he'll bring all the hidden things of darkness. He'll bring them to the light, right? And it will be clearly seen and known. In other words, he's going to identify the motive. He's going to identify the motive. That's what he's talking about when he's saying, and will make manifest the counsels of the heart. See, there's some things that's in our heart that will influence the way that we behave, right? Some of us, man, I want this conversation to resonate within each of you so bad. So please hear me. Some of us have things in our heart about certain people and certain actions that they've taken or decisions that they've made in times past. And it's so deep in our heart until our behavior towards that person is just horrible. Our behavior towards that person is not based upon who they are at that moment, but who they were in a prior moment. And I don't care who you are. None of us have room to judge anyone else, because we all have things, hidden things of darkness that we have of ourselves participated in. Yeah, we all do. And so whenever you take a spouse or a sibling or a parent or something, and you hold this stuff in your heart, the way you act towards them will be as a result of what's in your heart, what you feel in your heart for them. It doesn't matter how much you say you love them. It doesn't matter what you do for them. It doesn't matter what you say to them. If it's in your heart something ill against someone else, you will not be able to hide it. That is a principle taken straight from the Bible. From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. In other words, the heart overflows through the mouth, and what's in you is going to come out. This is the reason why the Bible warns about corrupt communication a lot, because that means that stuff is in your heart whenever you hear people talking about a certain thing all the time, because it's embedded in their heart. The things that they say out of their mouth are things that are coming from the heart. Some of us talk out of our head sometimes, but the majority of the thing, the deep thing, the consistent thing, the constant things that we say, those things are coming from our heart. And whenever we speak certain things, our behavior most of the time will follow. Your attitude will follow. You know, if you hear people say all the time, I don't care, you can keep your words, I'm watching your actions. You know, well, that sounds, it sounds good to say. It probably feel good to tell some people that, but for real, that's crazy. That's crazy, because the truth of the matter is, if you listen to my words are telling you exactly what's in my heart. Now, my behavior, my actions that are contrary to what I'm saying is showing you that I'm not aligned, okay? So here it is. I say, I love you. I'll never do anything to hurt you. I'll protect you. But every time I hurt you and I put you in harm's way, right? So that's contrary to my words. My actions are. It doesn't mean that my words are not true. What it means is that as an individual, there's something in me that's not aligned. Because every one of you on here right now listening to me that can hear my voice, every one of you have had intentions in your heart, but your actions just took you out of alignment with what was in your heart. And you really intended to do what you said you were going to do, but for some reason, your actions are not aligned with your words. And it doesn't mean that what you said and what you intended was not true in you or true to you or for you. It's really true. You are just not aligned. And so whenever you judged, when you're out of alignment, that makes it harder for you to get back in alignment, because judgment builds walls between your intentions and your actions. When you judge someone for a particular thing, it's hard for them to get back, because they got to climb over the wall of your judgment to get back in alignment with what's really in their heart. I hope you're hearing this. I hope you're hearing this. You go back and you consider the relationships in your life. Again, whether it be a sibling, whether it be a parent, whether it be a child, whether it be a spouse. You go back and you consider, whenever someone has already passed judgment, there's a wall built that you have to climb this wall to get back to or back into alignment with your intentions and what's in your heart. And that makes for a struggle. And most people are wearied before they climb the wall and be like, what the heck? And just go on with their lives or continue doing what they're doing. But when there is no judgment and when there is forgiveness, then forgiveness clears a path for them to have the opportunity to come back in alignment and correct it. Most people make corrections when they are forgiven, not when they are judged. If you want to see something different, and the people that's close to you, the people that you love, the person that disappointed you, the person that let you down, the person that hurt you, if you want to see a difference, if you want to see them correct that, forgive them. Because forgiveness is an invitation to correction. That's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is an invitation sent to you by the person that is forgiving you to make the correction. So this is the reason why God forgave us before we even knew that we needed forgiveness. He gave us an invitation to come back. And that's your way to get back into good standing with God, in alignment with God's will for your life, is through forgiveness. But judgment is going to build a wall, because a judgment really doesn't mean for anyone to get back. Judgment permanently banishes you from whatever it is or wherever it is you need to be aligned at. Judgment is intentionally put in place to keep you from going back or undoing the thing that needs to be corrected. And so you have to live with that. And that's a hard thing to do, especially when you're the one on the other side of error. A lot of people, whenever we're in error, you know what it is to just wish that someone could forgive you for something that you did. And regardless of how hurtful or painful, and in many cases, dark and spiteful, regardless of how much it was, there comes to a point when you really want to correct that. After you have rethought your actions or repented, you really want to correct it, but they've already judged you. And that judgment, that the wall of judgment that keeps you coming back from correcting, or coming back and correcting what you did wrong to that person or by that person, you get frustrated with them because they have this wall of judgment up that you can't get over, and you really have a deep desire to correct it, but it's like they won't allow you to correct it because they continue to judge you for it. And whenever someone is constantly judged for something, and every time you bring up what has happened or what didn't happen, you keep adding layers and depthness to the walls of judgment. And it makes it harder and harder to forgive. That's all irreconcilable differences is in marriages. It's just when you constantly adding layers and depths to a wall of judgment, and neither spouse has the ability to get back to each other. That's what happens with children when children are raised and a mother or father, either parent, were absent during the significant years. Many times those children have walls of judgment built up from over the years, throughout their entire childhood into their adulthood. And when that parent has matured and that parent is ready to come back in alignment with his purpose or her purpose for being a parent, that child has such a thick and fortified wall of judgment until that parent really doesn't stand a chance. And that child that is judging that parent, watch this, the child that is judging that child's behavior towards that parent will be further resistance in addition to the wall of judgment that's up. And so this is the reason why it's not important. I mean, it's very important for us not to judge anything before it's time. Because the decision, the judgment could change once all the evidence have been presented. Once all the evidence have been presented. Because a lot of times we don't know why people do what they do. And it's dangerous to judge someone without having all the evidence. That's why the scripture says, judge until before it's time, until the Lord comes. Wait until God comes. He's going to bring to the light the hidden things of darkness. He's going to present all the evidence. And once all the evidence are in front of us, then we could execute a righteous judgment. Any judgment that you have towards anybody right now is not a righteous judgment. The only thing you should be guilty of when it comes to another at this present time in your life, you should only be guilty of forgiving them. Well, you don't understand. I keep forgiving them for the same thing. Yep, I know. And that's all you should have for them. Until 7 times a day. That's what the scripture says. That's forgiveness. because the extent of your forgiveness should supersede the extent of your offense. Did you hear that? Your forgiveness should be as broad and as deep as your offense. If not, you'll end up walking in the offense rather than the forgiveness. And when you walk in offense more than you walk in forgiveness, guess who's guilty? You, because offense is the bait of Satan. If the psychological adversary of your spiritual welfare is to keep you offended to the point until you can't forgive, he understands that there is no absolute or true love in unforgiveness. And so now you are not in good standing with your Creator because you're walking in forgiveness, which is ultimately preventing you from being able to love purely, unconditionally, and without stipulation. And so you don't love like you say you love. You can say you love, well, I love him, I just don't forgive him. I can't take it no more. I'm offended. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of that. And those are real, true feelings. But your feelings are subject to change. And if you maintain a feeling, if your feelings are so powerful until months and years can go by with you maintaining those feelings, then you are not in alignment within yourself. Because at the core of each one of us, we want to love. We want to forgive. We want to be reconciled with our brothers and your cousins and your best friends and your children and your parents and your spouse. We all want that deep down inside. But whenever there is offense there, offense is going to taint your love. That's all offense does is all offense is a bacteria that will spread and contaminate the love that you're able to show a person, the grace that you're able to extend towards someone. So we have to be forgiving. And it's easier to forgive where you are not judgmental. When you're not judging someone, it's easier to forgive them. Most of the time when someone trespasses against us, first thing we do is judge what they did. How could you do this to me after all that I've done? How could you say that about me when you know my situation? How could you? How could you? How could you? And the more we ask those questions, the more offended we get. More offended we get, the more we judge their actions. The more we judge their actions, the more layers and depthness we add to the walls of judgment that keeps out forgiveness. Your judgment becomes the obstruction between you, that person, and the forgiveness that both of you guys need to have towards each other. And the dangerous thing about that type of judgment is the trespasser. If the trespasser has repented in their heart, but you're maintaining your judgment, guilt transfers from the trespasser to the offended. And so now the once was victim is now standing in danger of the judgment. Because you are obstructing God's forgiveness towards someone else. Because his will was for the trespasser to experience his unconditional love through your ability to forgive. And you obstruct that when you refuse to. And when you're so offended until you can't. You obstruct that, and what happens is now God has to deal with you And you thinking that, no, I'm just gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and you feel like you're gonna go on and go about your little blessed little way, and you will soon realize that if in fact you really want to go on, you have to forgive. That's what all this talk is about on social media platforms. I need to go and heal. Let me go and heal. I'm taking time to heal. I'm trying to protect my peace. No, babe, the truth of the matter is, you need to drop or tear down those walls of judgment and allow forgiveness to take place so that you could be made whole by the love that you project. Most of those people that come out of those experiences, when they come back from saying, I took time to heal, and then the first thing that people ask about is, so how do you feel about your ex now? They say, I have nothing against them, and I hope that God bless them. That's how you know when you heal. But you want me to tell you how that comes? That comes with forgiveness. That comes when you have removed your judgment towards someone else's actions. And the truth of the matter is, as long as you are a human being, there are going to be actions in you. As we sit here right now, every one of us have some actions in us that have not manifested yet that is offensive to someone else, and that trespasses against someone else. It's in you. You're formed in sin, shaped in iniquity. There's no way around it. It's a part of your nature. It's a part of your nature. It's in you. What you judge in them, it's in you. You are very capable of doing and being the same thing and person that you're offended by. That's what helps me a lot. I don't care what happens, what anyone shares with me. I don't know how to identify it, but there is something in me that I can't judge nobody for what they've done or what they tell me. I can't. And if you ever come to me and tell me about something that has happened to you, and you want me to pick a side, and if picking a side calls for me to have to pass judgment on somebody else, I'm not going to do it. I lived long enough to understand that I can be guilty of offending or afflicting someone else with pain, just like I was afflicted or offended by someone else's action. I understand that I'm subject to the same thing. We all are. And so I cannot judge the other person. What I can do is I can comfort you and I could strengthen you. I can do that. But I can't judge nobody with you. I can't stand in judgment. I cannot. I will not. Because there has to always be a pathway of forgiveness. And that is necessary because that is where God manifests his love to all of us through forgiveness. You don't understand, you won't understand the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ without forgiveness. You won't understand the love of what happened that day. You won't understand the love and the power of him getting up if you're unable to understand forgiveness and extend and accept forgiveness. So I want to challenge you today. Some of the offense and some of the walls of unforgiveness that you have built, some may have been just for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Some, these walls have been under construction for years. I want to challenge you to start tearing those walls down and give whomever has or whatever has offended you, give it room, or whatever has offended you, give it room and place in your life for forgiveness so that you could love unconditionally and that God can love through you unconditionally. That's what we really need to do. You got to tear those walls down. You got to walk in forgiveness. You have to know that you are subject at any given moment to be the same person that you are offended by, the same person that you've judged. Many times, whenever we judge something, life has a way of putting us in the same position of the thing that we judged to show us what being guilty of that feels like, so that we'll learn not to judge anyone else. So be careful. That's the old principle. Never say never. The moment you say never, you find yourself in the situation. You'll never go to. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even know that was in me. What have I done? What in the world am I doing? How did I end up here? You ended up there because you started judging something before it's time. God's love is emphasized by his forgiveness. The only way we know how powerful his love is through forgiveness. So if you really want God to bless the people close to you, the people around you, even you, make sure that you're always leaving space for forgiveness. That's all I'm saying. Leave space for forgiveness. So that your heart can be pure and that person can have the opportunity to come back in alignment with the intentions of their heart. But don't deny anyone access to God's forgiveness or love by your judging them. Well, that's it. I hope I said something to provoke you to deep thought and to reconsider the principles that you are living by as a believer, as a lover of God. That's it. Again, thank you guys so much for all the birthday wishes and gifts. I love you guys so much. We will be here next Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you need me before then, you can hit me up via text, phone call, DM, inbox, email. You know how to do it. As we get ready to go and enjoy the rest of our Sunday evening, I want you guys to go and make a donation. Now, and I'm saying, like, really go make a donation. Because some of y'all have been hanging out with me for a while, and y'all don't miss. But I don't never, ever see y'all show up, okay? So let's go ahead and do that today. Immediately, once we get off this, go and make a donation. Also, right before we go, and I just need to say this for some of you who are here. Seattle Seahawks beat the Dallas Cowboys last night. I don't know who that's for. I don't even know if you watched the game. But somebody need to know that this morning. I love y'all. Bid you blessings and Godspeed. See you next week.
Focus on the better days. Be willing to let go and receive. Just breathe. Nothing will hold you down. Just repeat after me.
Drika, I got time today.
I am power, I am love, I am light. I am worthy, I am learning, I deserve it. I am faithful, I am able, I am fearless. I am humble, I am grateful, I am purpose. I am passion, I am present, I'm determined. I am strong, I am brave, I am enough. Know that it won't be easy, still I won't give up.
Drika, you got to be forgiven. Remember, we just got done talking about that. You got to forgive. Don't judge me.
Put your mind to it. Give it all you got till there's nothing left. You're more than capable. Just believe it's yours and it'll be. Have faith and you'll see. There's a power deep
Love you guys. See ya.
inside you.